From the center of a rainy Southern California, this here is ForceCenter, a show about Star Wars, pop culture, the ultimate adventure, life itself, and Star Wars news. I'm Cat Knapsack. Oh, my bad. My bad. I had all the buttons pressed. I had all the buttons pressed.
Someday I'm going to just mouth introducing myself and trick you into thinking that you've muted me, which will then cause you to actually mute me. Anyway. I'm Joseph Scrimshaw, and I'm probably I look fine on my own, man, but I bet I'm a little pixelated because we've got our previous episode we recorded is uploading. My wife is working from home today, and the rain is pounding down on this noir Los Angeles day.
It's a great LA rain day. I know everyone in the world can make fun of us, but it is cold. Okay, got a beanie on. The squirrels are wet in my backyard trying to eat peanuts in the rain, though I do have an umbrella over them. We're here to talk some Star Wars news, and we're here to talk about Star Wars news that will drop tomorrow. But we are here to announce, yes, the tease went out this morning, and Mandalorian and Grogu trailers coming tomorrow. Imagine that! It was so close to happening. And we are we've got something scheduled. We're gonna get a breakdown of the trailer out tomorrow as well. So we'll be working overtime this week.
That is right. We are excited that if anybody doesn't know, they have released a short teaser for the full trailer, which is different than the teaser trailer that they released a while back. It is a different time to be alive, but I am happy that they have been. I wonder if since a lot of marketing publicity has leaned more into influencers and YouTubers and podcasters, that they have been doing better at giving us a heads up. They give a heads up for Maul, and they're giving a heads up for this. So it is very different that you and I can plan and go, yeah, we got an hour tomorrow. Let's get together and record this, which we would not have done if it just popped into existence tomorrow. So that's great.
Yeah, the ForceCenter curse. We alleviated a little bit of the ForceCenter news curse by going live on Mondays so that we can pivot as needed. But it's going to be good. And and Brady in chat points out, look, we got a flash flood warning already today, so it's serious in LA. All right, you all make fun of us, but it's real. In fact, you saw that in our episode. We'll come out maybe this week or next. We'll see the Revenge of the Sith scenes. I got the warning in the middle of it and was distracted slightly. So there we go. We're going to talk about some Star Wars news before we get to that. Also, Jennifer Landis says hello and sends regards. Looking to be back next week. And just kind of getting through a lot of big things in life all hitting at the same time. So she will be back next week. Before we go on, we want to remind you today's podcast is brought to you by our own merch shop on Fourth Wall. Check out our merch store. Pick up a t-shirt, pint glass, something to help support the show and represent ForceCenter out in the galaxy. Let us know if there's something on there that isn't there, and we'll try to add it. That didn't make sense. Is there something on there that isn't there? Confusing, the Force works. Head over to our merch shop again at forcecenter-shop.fourthwall.com, forcecenter-shop.fourthwall.com. And also, Joseph, we're highlighting two websites today. One is ours, one is not.
That is right. We are highlighting our Patreon. We've been trying to spend a little bit more time there and get back to growing the Patreon. It lets you get onto our Discord. And I realize Discord has made some news in the past week. But hopefully it also seems to be maybe moving back. Anyway, Discord. It's a great place that you can get to have friendly Star Wars conversations. We're also back to doing every other week. We're doing a more in-depth Cues of the Force, where we are taking questions from patrons on Patreon. So if you'd like us to ask us a question, the ForceCenter Patreon is a great way to do that. Also want to continue to highlight the great website standwithminnesota.com, created by a woman named Ashley Fairbanks, which is a great collection of all sorts of ways you can help with what's going on in Minnesota. There was, of course, an announcement that Operation Metro Surge, the invasion and occupation by federal agents of my home state of Minnesota, was going to be wrapping up. There's a lot of evidence that what that really means is ICE agents have changed their tactics and are still unlawfully stopping people, grabbing people, detaining people, breaking people's windows. All those things are still occurring. So if you want to help, you can check out the website standwithminnesota.com.
Yeah, the city's economy just its flow of life is altered and still in recovery too. So yeah, Stand with Minnesota, great website there. So yeah, we'll get into some Star Wars news. But all right, I can't look. Dale says I'd say hello, but they don't pay much attention to chat nor acknowledge most people in chat. Yes, we do. We have a whole show on Friday where you call in. I look at every comment. Dale, hello. We're broadcasters. We're not live streamers who sit here chomping gum and not knowing what to say. You're watching a live show being recorded. So we're not here to acknowledge every comment. We're here to pull ones in that matter to our conversation. We're professionals. We're not just going, hey, guys, we're streaming. So that's why. Dale, we see every comment. Look, I just saw this one, Channel 19, David. I know David's real name.
Ooh.
Dale,
welcome. Important comment. And still, Bill, I think, is really capturing what we're saying. Hey. Yes, I understand. We can't respond to every single comment, but we do watch, and that is one of the things that I've been enjoying about doing this is watching people chat in the chat with each other and having great conversations and jokes back and forth and all that.
There you go. Alden's here says Ken will actually say hello to all of you before he says hi to most people in real life if it helps. Yeah, I didn't text Alden this morning at all. I did wake him up last night for a great episode of Night of the Seven Kingdoms. Anyways, which now comes, Joseph, with a violence warning for you personally.
Yes.
It was a great episode. Anyways, so all right, we got some Star Wars news here, and the big news is tomorrow. Like I said, just joining, we are going to do a breakdown of the trailer tomorrow. But Joseph, take us through Mando and Grogu hype, and a lot of it centered around our good buddy Johnny Favs.
So Mando and Grogu hype is well, I have to start, Cam, by saying I definitely stood my grumpy ground last week and said that I trusted that they would get to promoting the film, but I was frustrated that there had been so much hype for Starfighter, which made it feel like Mando and Grogu were cold leftovers. And I am happy to. My wife's knitting me a hat right now. I'll eat it because they did exactly what I wanted them to this week. Favreau is out front, and the hype is building, and it's great. So I want to acknowledge that the thing that I hoped would happen happened this week. So maybe I should have just had some Jedi patience. Anyway, so there was a toy announcement event, and at this toy announcement event, Jon Favreau did a lot of talking. So we're going to talk through some of his quotes. This is pulled from the great website Star Wars Newsnet. They said, speaking at an event to mark the announcement of new toy and merchandise lines for the upcoming The Mandalorian and Grogu film, Jon Favreau spoke to Polygon and others about the difference in creating a Star Wars story for the big screen, what those stakes are, and how he's feeling as we near the release of the film. This now is a direct quote from Mr. Jon Favreau. With Star Wars, we have to execute at that tech level, so the challenge becomes, okay, we presented a cinematic experience on the small screen. We have to up our game now to the movie theater. That means taller aspect ratios for IMAX, building sets that take full advantage of that, making the visual effects of the quality and caliber that we have to notch everything up, and then the storytelling as well. So, Ken, question for you. For you, what makes something feel like cinema rather than television? Because I agree with Mr. Favreau that in some episodes of The Mandalorian, they really made it feel big, cinematic. The first episode of season 2 in particular, with the Krayt Dragon, felt big and cinematic. So they need to make it feel bigger and more cinematic than it was on television. What kind of bigness do you need for this film?
I mean, look, I'll toss around all the tech terms I don't understand because I didn't just make an indie horror film. So I don't know. I just stand on sets and point. You know how to shoot things now and then put it together. I don't know those words. I can say scope. I can say aspect ratio. I can say the sound that rumbles in the seat. I can say all that, but I just want to be swept away. And it's harder to get swept away when you're on your couch. That's one of the downsides. TV is different, and we've had blessed with golden age of TV the last 10, 15 years in a way we never were. But when I think of, I don't need world stakes. I don't need the galaxy is going to fall if this doesn't happen. I just want to be pulled in, swept away, and have I guess it could be set pieces. I could guess it could be just the experience of those around me. But I'm pretty easy. I'm an easy mark for turning it into a movie, and how they shoot it, and how they present it, and they've always been aware of this. They've always been aware of this, and I guess because it's raining and I'm snarky today. Like, by the way, Dale's great. Dale, I love that comment, Dale Skywalker. But like, there's some veteran movie kind of people out there right now, movie news people, really taking these. So was this just going to be another episode? I could name some names. I could name some names, but I won't today. But like, it's really frustrating because you're the ones who making this a toxic place of discourse. You're the ones who undercut everything before you even see it, just because you love leaning into your Gen X snark. These are smart industry professionals. Just like I got grumpy last week, pushing back against anyone, not you, but anyone who's like, Disney wants this movie to fail. There's no one collecting a paycheck or who has a Disney pass, which also gets you, by the way, if you just work at Disney up the street on animated TV shows, you get a Disneyland pass, by the way. Did you know that, Joseph? I didn't know that. There's no one there collecting who wants this movie to fail. There's no one making this film, even if it was a script that John had laying around for season 4. Even if that was the case, there's no one there who's like, hey, let's just put up what we did before. They know they're going to theaters. These are professionals. And they know what's going to go into what they need to put into it to make it big.
No, I really agree with that. I think that one of the great and interesting things about Jon Favreau is that he is an emotional director. He really cares about the characters. He really thinks about the characters and what's at the heart of the story and the why are we telling this story. But he's also a big nerd about the tech side. And I think there are great directors who are like, if I was left alone in the room with a camera and some lights, I would electrocute myself. I'm not technical, right? And Tarantino will go on about like, you don't have to know how to do any of those things. You need to communicate how the tech side of it works. But Favreau's a tech nerd. He knows and he likes it. And I think a lot of the things that he's talking about of what makes it feel bigger, of the wider shots, wider environments, sets that are literally physically more expansive, things that are like almost subliminal, like you maybe wouldn't notice them and pick them out shot by shot. Certainly the average audience wouldn't, but they add up to feeling literally physically bigger. He's such a nerd about that, the technicality of that I think he's going to do that. Pull in a comment that is relevant as per our discussion. Where'd it go? 8984M says, just have a good boom and surround sound. That gets me going. After working on the sound for my own film, doing a lot of the design, and then sitting in the room with the sound mixer with his absolutely perfect setup and seeing what knobs you have to turn to make you feel it in your sternum. The difference of experiencing sound in a cinema, especially if it's designed right, I think is another little subliminal thing that elevates the experience too, unless you have the greatest home setup, makes it feel bigger. But more than anything to me, and we'll get into this with his next quote, I think it isn't that stakes have to be high. It isn't that have to be like Din and Grogu's mission is to stop the assassination of Mon Mothma as Chancellor. That they don't have to be high in terms of that sort of escalation of like, there's going to be a nuclear bomb that goes off. They have to be high stakes for the characters. And I think that's the kind of television show thing that would ding it. If it feels like this was a fun adventure and it moved their characters forward a little, that might feel less than cinematic. But I think the stakes have to be high for Din and Grogu. What are they challenged by? If they are changed, we will feel changed. And if the storytelling works, that's what's going to make it feel cinematic, and not like another episode where they have a cool adventure and they inch forward in their understanding of one another. Like they have to start in one place and end in a different place, I think, for this to feel like a film.
No, excellent point, son. Just their stakes, right? And I think that's kind of what the Super Bowl big game trailer was a little bit about it, just reminding us of who they are and their connection and what they can face as a team. Also, David points out what really is going to make it feel like cinema is all the song and dance numbers. And I think that's it.
Yes.
I think those are Grogu's first words. Am I Mandalorian or am I Jedi? Like that's what's going to happen.
Yes. And of course, the popcorn bucket where you eat out of Grogu's head. I think that is what's really going to make it feel special.
Like Krellman.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like Krellman. Give me that Krellman beer stein where I can drink out of his brain. So Favreau continued to talk about the challenge of getting butts in theater seats. He said, this is a quote, that adventure has to fill up the screen and has to be something. At this moment in time when so much is competing for attention, that you're going to stop what you're doing and you're going to go to a movie theater and you're going to sit down in that movie theater and you're not going to be able to pause it and you're not going to be able to eat the food out of your refrigerator. You have to have such a good experience that you say, this is worth my time. Let's go again. I want to bring you. You should go see it. So what I'm really interested in that quote, Ken, is kind of how Star Wars gets back around to being a word of mouth film these days. Like, what would it take for you to go see this film and then become like an evangelist and become like, even with all the stress of talking Star Wars with friends, I'm going to pester friends to be like, no, you got to see this. What would that, what needs to be there for you to become the word of mouth guy?
I think that the big word for me around this one will be fun. And that's a dirty word for some folks. I think if you know, I don't know. And every time I'm trying to sell a movie that I enjoy in this genre, it is kind of how it makes you feel and how it connects with you. And that's why we're here to talk about things so deeply. But these are fun characters and they go through important things and have poignant moments and deeper introspection. And we have the hammer of trauma from the armor. We have all these things that I think Mando has done. But I think one of the things it did in 2019 was brought a lot of whimsy, wonder, and fun, and didn't necessarily have all the answers. And I think these two are a dynamic duo, man. These two go together great. They are in some ways, the breakout characters of this modern era. To me, like we love Rey, we love Kylo, Finn, Poe, all of it. BB-8. BB-8's had, we do not forget the era of BB-8 being the cutest thing in Star Wars. I was reminded that on a comedy show I was on last night. Someone shouted out how much they love BB-8. But I was just talking to our buddy Mark Riley, former Collider Jedi Council cohort with me, and he has a daughter, 2 now, and he just texted this morning. He goes, "My daughter loves Grogu. Loves Grogu. It's the first thing she's grabbed onto." So, and he goes, if she was a little bit older, I know we'd be seeing this 6 times. And I think that connects to wonder and fun. And it doesn't mean that this isn't going to get serious or that we aren't going to hopefully have Keller and Beck taking Grogu to Jar Jar in a dramatic, bittersweet moment in Star Wars. But I think this needs to be the adventure of the summer.
Yeah, I think that's a great point of having it be well-rounded the way Star Wars can be. I think that the television shows have managed to sort of carve out a little bit of doing something different and or celebrated for doing something different, for being use the G word, gritty, and the other G word, grounded, and the other G word, good, gritty, grounded, good. But being so political and Acolyte being a darker thing, but all of the Star Wars films have always been this amazing balancing act of whimsy, love, hope, dark times, weird times, pulpy times, just like all of and sometimes a song that in order to feel like a Star Wars movie, it maybe does need to feel like all those things. I think is a great point. I think 2 things I was thinking about with what is going to make this, have a lot of buttons that make people want to go is families. I just kind of forgot about families. I'm so used to talking to other grumpy adults, but forgetting that, Grogu is a great attraction for kids. Families will see themselves in this because it is going to be a family story. Din is trying to raise Grogu to be a good Mandalorian. So this film might succeed on families. The other thing that I was really thinking about, I saw another friend on social media over the weekend, just kind of doing some of the things that a lot of people that Gen X and younger do, of just like, I'm bored on a Saturday, so let me crap on Star Wars. Star Wars just has some weird attraction of being a punching bag, and I think that's what films have to get past, because a lot of people's first reaction is going to be, what did Disney do now? Let me make fun of it. Let me punch it. It's a safe thing to punch. Punching Star Wars doesn't hurt anybody. Right. Jon Favreau is rich. He's never going to see this post. Who cares? There's so much energy toward punching this film that will happen absolutely no matter what. I think what needs to happen for it to become this word of mouth success is that there needs to be something surprising about it. Because and I don't even mean like a plot twist.
Not a plot. Yeah.
It has to be so emotionally satisfying that it surprises people the way the first season of Mandalorian surprised people, of like, oh my gosh, you have to see Grogu. He's so cute. And the pull of super cool, violent armor daddy is actually the most sensitive man on the planet. These huge emotional hooks that became surprises. Things like Sinners become a breakout hit because they're surprised of like, people were kind of tracking Ryan Coogler, super well-liked director, but holy crap, you got to see it or you're going to miss out on the conversation. And Star Wars almost has this bar to be like, since a lot of people are going to punch it to start, the surprise has to be like, wow, I went there expecting to collect 8 things to make fun of, and holy crap, it was actually good. I think the film will be a word of mouth success if social media is filled up with, holy crap, this is actually good, because so many of us are lined up to be negative towards it. Not all in Star Wars fans, but the more general public.
Yeah. I think there's an opportunity for this film to surprise people in terms of success, not necessarily in box office, though I hope and I think it will do well, but that's a different game now. But I think it's primed in the sense of with what's kind of going on in the world, similar to A New Hope, but on a smaller scale. I think it will surprise people that it's Mando Grogu adventure, but oh man, that got me, or that moved me. I'm sorry, Joseph. I'm in my Game of Thrones Night of Seven Kingdoms era, but that shows the success. It finally this week in the 5th episode had something of large scale, and woof, and the way they did it. Oh, I could go on about how good it was. But the first 4 episodes were about connection. First 4 episodes were the connection of this hedge knight and this squire, and it was them at the center of it, and big themes and all these kind of things, but it was small scale. Them laughing and connecting over a breakfast sandwich they made at a campfire moved people in a way they haven't been moved, not just by Game of Thrones, but I think in a genre series in a couple years. And it's working on that level. It's not spilling out like season 1, season 2 Game of Thrones, where it's going to dominate pop culture. We're in a different world. But I also go to Barbie. Barbenheimer, Oppenheimer was once in a lifetime, right? But that got a lot of people to the theater. But I, like a lot of folks, sat there and watched this Barbie movie, trusting the people behind it. Like, oh, I'm sure they came up with something that isn't just a toy picture. And then 15 minutes in, I'm crying. I'm bawling because of that bus bench scene with Barbie and the older woman. Because I was like, they're doing something that I needed. And that surprised me. And that was my word of mouth. Not like, you got to go see Barbie. Margot Robbie's great. I'm Ken Enough. It was like this film moved me. And that's cinema and dancing and singing numbers, which the movie did have. I think Mando and Grogu, I think it will do that. I think their connection and who they are and our love of these two as a duo, I think that's going to carry the day in a way that those naysayers aren't expecting.
Yeah. And Favreau's heart. His connection to these characters and his connection to the why. I think you make such a great point, because I saw another social media post today where the word of mouth of Night of Seven Kingdoms getting so much positive buzz is kind of like what I'm talking about with Star Wars, of the like, turns out actually it's good. I saw a post from somebody going, okay, I'm hearing from everyone that Knights of the Seven Kingdom is great. However, I made a personal commitment to hate all of Game of Thrones, since like that's literally what the person was saying. Maybe a little tongue in cheek, but literally
But see,
And I think it's a little the same thing of like not us all in fans, but grumps in the general audience are like, since Rise of Skywalker came out and all these other Disney Plus shows that I don't like, I have made a personal commitment to hate Star Wars. How good does Mando and Grogu have to be to make them go, all right, I will give up my hate and let in some love?
it's some of that talk is it's why I can get so angry about some of the stuff. And there was two folks over at the Ringer, who's this giant, professional podcasting media empire started by Bill Simmons, and I really dislike their tone a lot. I really dislike their tone, and there's a clip going around of them talking about AI, which is good. I was having this conversation with our buddy Alden Diaz this morning, but they said F this movie after the Grogu, after the tease of the Super Bowl. And there's a clip of them going around saying, I hate this movie, and everyone at Disney wants them to succeed. That's the toxic shit that destroys this community. Yes, there's the grifters. Yes, there's the alt-right. But they're doing that. The ones who are trying to have you keep a straight face about their reactions and this stuff does poison the well. Going back to Solo Star Wars Story, one of my good friends, been on this show, Joe, was like, he's a huge Star Wars fan. His cat's named Lando. And he hadn't seen Solo Star Wars Story about 8 or 9 months after it came out. He goes, I don't, I was a little busy. I heard it wasn't good. I heard they had to do reshoots. I heard the directors got fired. And I was like, dude, first of all, judge for yourself, but see it. And I think this movie's going to do it. I don't know. I'm going on a tangent here, but because it's a Monday and it's raining.
But it is the stakes because the first weekend's going to go great. It's going to be IMAX money, and all of us are going to go see it, and it's all going to be about that second weekend. And it is how the general audience wrestles with some of their preconceived notions about Star Wars that is going to make the difference. And I think that's what Favreau is wrestling with and what he's talking about here. Favreau also spoke about the mysteries of the plot. He said there's some stuff that people may have gotten clues to. He's in a Razor Crest now, which is the ship he originally had. He's in the same model of ship. Grogu has leveled up a bit. We saw that he is trained with Luke and time has passed, so he's got a little of the Jedi influence. And then he's also an apprentice Mandalorian, so now it's time for Dad to bring him on adventures. And pretty soon there'll be a few more clues out there in the world. And now you and I know that those clues will be in the form of a trailer that is releasing tomorrow, Tuesday, February 17th, as we record this. But this is a good time to ask, in terms of, clues out there in the world. I know some people, including some of our listeners, viewers, are hoping for plot details. What's the plot? What's at stake? What are they doing other than fighting Imperial remnants? But what do you want to learn in this trailer? What would make you even more excited for the film?
Honestly, I could live with nothing. Like I could live with Johnny Favs and team just putting out the same 10 things we've seen, because I want to go in a little blind. But there was something, I think our buddy Brian Ward said, hey, look, I'm excited for the movie, but it's a lot of member berries so far. This is Brian's opinion, marketing and toys. I'm ready for the trailer to change the narrative and the discussion. And I think that last sentence is really important to me, of change the narrative and discussion that you and I were just talking around this film. I hope it does provide some clarity of who's in it, what's going on, not the surprises. Is Embo in it? I'd love an Embo reveal. We've seen Rod of the Hutt, but do we get to hear him? Is there anything kind of that will make you go, ooh? Even the 15-second tease today had some shots in it that I was like, oh, this is cinema. No one's singing and dancing, but this is cinema. We got that X-Wing shot's great. So I think there'll be a little bit of that. So just for us, I want a little bit more clarity of what we can expect. I don't know if I need a big bad reveal or anything, but that couldn't hurt. Yeah,
I think for me, what I want is a little bit of a sequel trilogy style trailer. For Mando and Grogu, there's already been a lot out there of, here are the different set pieces. So there's things to piece together. Like, well, eventually they're going to go to that snow world and they're going to have the AT-AT fight. And it really does look like Grogu is going to split up from Din and have a side adventure with the Anzellans. Like, Rada's going to show up and they're going to be at some sort of gladiator arena, and like starting to piece together lots of bits and pieces of adventure, action, scale. I think what this needs, and what the sequel trilogy did great at, is make you feel what they're feeling. What is at stake for Din and Grogu? Is Din afraid of failing Grogu? Is Grogu afraid of facing his past? Those sequel trilogy trailers that used voiceovers, from Luke and from the other characters, really told you what the characters were afraid of. They're afraid of not feeling a part of things. They were afraid of failing one another. They were afraid of the burden of legacy. Those trailers you can pull apart. They're afraid that the past would always come back to get them no matter what. You can pull those trailers apart for theme statements of the film. And that's what I don't think we have. We know who Din and Grogu are as characters. We've seen a lot of adventure set pieces. We've seen a lot of toys. What we need to know now is a theme statement, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree with that. And then everyone tell your friends to come listen to us to explain that theme statement. Yeah. But no, it's needed, and we're talking about people deep in the Star Wars bubble. There was I was chatting with I don't know, maybe I said this last week. I apologize, but talking to our buddy Scotty over the Bombadcast, and he has a coworker of his, a teacher, that came up to him after the Super Bowl the next Monday morning, was like, "Dude, did you know they're making a Mandalorian Grogu movie? Awesome!" And I think a big robust trailer will do that as well.
Yes. Yeah. And that is, one part of marketing is how do you get the word out to people? And the other part of it is, what is the word? What is the actual message? And if all the message is IMAX May 22nd, that's good too. Yeah. And then some people are talking about how much they want. Yeah. I mean, I would prefer if I don't want to see any more between the toys and the trailers. You're already putting together plot pieces, and they have to go here, they have to go there. I would be happy if it was a shot of Din's helmet that slowly tracks in for 90 seconds with voiceover of theme statements. That's really what I'm arguing for, is less in terms of detail and more in terms of heart. Because if there's a shot of Embo or Rada's face, that will be fun for us who are all in. But I don't think it'll make a difference to the general public. I think let's say the heart of the film is Din is terrified of failing Grogu. And that is, and you are made to feel that. I think that hooks into general people, because it isn't what old thing from Empire Strikes Back is in this movie, what explodes. Right. It's, why do I care? And I think general audience people need to feel that as well.
Yeah. Why should you care about a Mono Man?
Yeah. I care a lot about Mono Man, actually.
I do too.
Yeah,
I do too.
So our friend Brian Ward did bring up the point of, in the teasers and the trailers that we've seen so far, and in the toys, there is a lot of let's really play in the Star Wars sandbox. These are characters that are based on action figures that you remember, like a Monoman, if you're of the Gen X era. We have the AT-ATs. We've got the cool toy reveal of a commando droid from the Clone Wars era, but with a cool cape. And we have the Razor Crest back. So there are a lot of there's a lot of cool things that we recognize and remember. Are you excited about the Razor Crest in particular, about Din and Grogu having a new one? Or does it at all feel to you, Ken, like backtracking?
It feels slightly like a backtrack that I enjoy, right? Like, it feels like, because that was such a gut punch. You and I have talked about that. I'm staring up at the Lego set. You had just got the HasLab set delivered to your door, and then it blows up the next day. I was building the Lego set at the time on streams, going, I should just leave the pieces broken. It was a gut punch, but that shows me that we did truly love that ship, and it should. I think it's a great ship. It's a Volkswagen van in space, and who doesn't want to putt around the galaxy with that? And it makes a lot of sense. Love we'll get the explanation. Maybe, we'll get he put the N1 up for sale. Who knows? Is it Razor Crest 2? Is they stitch the pieces back together? I kind of don't care. I think it's a smart decision. And you can look at it cynically, but I think it's a good backtrack. It's a good decision. We all can reevaluate our choices in life. We all have that chance, and maybe they did that here.
Yes. I'm excited to see it in context.
Yes.
Because I think just from kind of a forward momentum perspective, I think it does open the film up to did you strategy test it with audiences and they like that ship better, so you just went back to the old one. But from the perspective of the show itself, my first car, your first car as well, Ken, was a Ford Fairmont. I had my
Mhm.
first Ford Fairmont for a year. It broke. And then I bought another Ford Fairmont immediately because I loved that car. And it feels like the story here is like, well, I had my, bounty hunter capture van that I could also live in. And then I was kind of sad and alone. And I bought my sort of my hot rod for me and my little buddy to fly around in. But you know what? I need that family van to do solid, responsible work. Grogu needs a training area, all
Yeah.
that. So I'm really excited to see the context of it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. The context will make it make sense. Did I know you bought a second Fairmont? I went onto the Plymouth Colt. That was my version of the M1 Starfighter. I could barely fit in. Should have got a Fairmont again.
My dad and I rated everything out of the shell of my first Ford Fairmont, and so that we had all these backup parts for if the heater core broke, we had one ready to go.
That's
Good
smart.
times. Good times. Yeah. And feel free, Ken, to grab any of these chats if you want. I think people people have strong feelings, and it's good. Detective McCarcel, I'm down for the backtrack. As cool as it is, the N1 is so impractical.
It was. It was.
It was. Nottingham sharing. Din getting a new Razor Crest feels like Din getting what he wanted in Book of Boba Fett. He didn't want the N1. It served the purpose of badass dogfighting in season 3. Yep.
Yeah, and as we discussed, valuable lessons of the Tale of Two Mothers, as you wonderfully broke down in that Boba Fett episode. So it served a great purpose. And Brian, this is the most important comment. Brian Tiller, lead singer of the band The Moonagers. First car was a hand-me-down Dodge Colt wagon. That's how you build character, kids. That's how you build character.
No refresher on the N1. That's right. No bathroom in the hot rod.
Yeah, come on. It's not practical.
All right. So Favreau also had this quote about the film being a culmination, potentially. He said, I've been working on Star Wars now for 7 years, and to be able to step up to doing it as a film feels like a culmination of what I'm working on. Now, the word culmination he could have said feels like the next step. But the word culmination has some people, discussing like a culmination is in the end. So how would you feel if this film was Favreau's farewell and he stepped back?
I actually would enjoy in the sense of what a great run. Hey, he get to come in and do some things that he always wanted to do, and got to call his own shot to leave. I actually would like it, but I don't necessarily want him to leave Star Wars. But he was a important guiding hand during a key time in the Star Wars franchise, moving beyond the movies, launching Disney Plus, whether we fully love streaming or not. I think in the development of Dave Filoni, a lot of conversations leaked out of not leaked, but emerged out of those season 1 sets of John, say, hey, I'm John, you're Dave. Let me kind of show you how it's done, and I think that's going to have great value for the franchise going forward. So he was. I think if this is it, that is a great run. But I hope the movie's a smashing success, and they say let's do another one. Let's find a way to do another one. We know the slate is crowded with what's out there, what's rumored to be out there, what might be out there, and maybe that's part of it too. Maybe he kind of from his own thing is like, hey, I did my thing, man. I did my thing, and I'm happy to move on to other things. So I'd be okay with it.
Yeah, he at this event, he's also talking about a project he's worked on with Disney to develop a new storytelling around the sort of prototype Mickey Mouse that Walt Disney had of Oswald. So it's like he's clearly keeping the relationship with Disney alive. And I wouldn't be surprised if he was interested in seeing how this goes. And maybe this is a culmination. Maybe there's a 4th season of Mando in Grogu, and he's like, hey, you know what? I'll really oversee it. And you know what? Rick Fahmy, he was going to be the showrunner. I think it could be totally up in the air about what his hands-on future is as a filmmaker. See how this film goes for Disney, goes for him, goes for everybody.
Indeed. So Grandmaster Solo saying Favreau's not leaving. He's the president of production. He's not. The executive vice president of actual physical production in Lucasfilm is Mohsen Gupta. So I don't think he has an official title like that inside Lucasfilm, but could be wrong. We'll find out.
Yeah, I think I mostly just want to stay on in this moment and in this celebration of a
Yeah.
big step forward for Mando,
Yeah.
Grogu, and for Favreau.
Yeah.
All right, moving on to the actual toys that were announced as well. A ton of toys were announced. There were some Lego, there were Funko Pop, there were action figures in 3 different lines: the Vintage Collection, which is 3 3/4, the Black Series 6-inch, and the more basic 5 points of articulation series they've been doing, which they originally called the Epic line, but appear to be calling the Action Verse line. So 3 different lines of action figures. And among the many interesting little reveals of the action figures, might have known Sigourney Weaver's character name elsewhere, but if we did, I personally missed it. So Sigourney Weaver's character name is Colonel Ward. There's a mercenary guard, which is a Clone Wars era commando droid wearing armor and a cape and flying on a staff from the Phantom Menace. There's a remnant snow trooper that doesn't have the mask, little drop down mask. Several of the Grogu figures feature him wearing his large clan Mudhorn Beskar shield outside his little robe. In my personal favorite, all of the Din Djarin figures come with all sorts of weaponry, including what looks like a Beskar short sword, just like an actual sword. So anyway, I will want to talk with you, Ken, about the sword. But for you, what's exciting or interesting in any of these reveals?
The droid commando wearing armor flying on a staff is absolutely amazing. Number one, I go back to Chicago 2019 with Jon Favreau saying, yeah, I was not really a fan of the prequels, but Dave's working on me. And now pretty much N1 to character names, references, and now a commando droid on a staff. Johnny, you're in the prequels, man. This is amazing. So that one just has Saturday morning serial adventure, kit bashed figure kind of joy and glory to it. I love that. And all these is fun. I don't collect anymore for various reasons, but every time I see something like this, and these were texted to me or emails were sent to me, like I want to buy them all. And the Lego stuff looked great as well. And I love the little Lego reveals, whether they're 100% honest or true or not. Lego has always been a bit of a spoiler around Star Wars, and it's fun.
Yeah, there is a ship, a Lego X-Wing that comes with Carson Teva, but there's no branding on that. And a couple of the things they announced, like there's a new IG-11 that's branded with The Mandalorian, the show, not the movie Mandalorian Grogu. So I don't trust that every little thing that we see, unless it has the actual logo of the film, The Mandalorian Grogu, on it. I don't entirely trust that. Yes. So want to talk about this sword. A couple folks, Amaranth and Svetnik, saying, do we think the sword is Beskar? Their armor was against weapons like that made of Beskar. She disapproved of the spear. Yes, I just said Beskar in not remembering that detail. So thanks for everyone for pointing that out. Maybe the armor has changed your mind. It's silver. That's why I said Beskar. And I think that it probably isn't Beskar. Thank you, everyone, for pointing that out. What I was excited by is, since I saw Star Wars when I was 3 years old, the lightsaber has been like, this is what the sword of this great space fantasy world is. Din carried around, but was never really comfortable with the dark saber. But the idea that maybe that is a part of the weaponry he wants to carry, and so he got, it's like if you know how smartphones came out and people started referring to flip phones as dumb phones. He's like, instead of a smart saber, I got one of these old school dumb sabers. It's just made of metal. That's what was interesting to me. The Beskar, you're right. Everybody's right. If it was Beskar, that would be a whole different can of worms. But what I was really interested in is Star Wars has always used lightsabers as like it is a symbol, and the storytelling has been built up around the sentience of the Kyber crystal and the dark saber needing to flow with it, be one with it, the way Kanan trains Sabine. For him to have, something that is a sword that might be sort of symbolic, mythic. I want a blade like this. it got me excited about those possibilities of the sort of mythological implications.
I mean, you had hinted it to me last week, or I don't know, maybe via text. Life is moving so fast that you were really excited about one particular item on the toys, and this is right up your alley. This is wonderful.
Yeah, and Detective McCarcel tries to take the wind out of my sails by saying it'd be just some kind of vibroblade. And if you're betting money, I think Detective McCarcel would be correct. It's just like, yeah, and he's got. Is it even a sword or is it a bigger knife? What's the line? Yeah. I know there are sword fans out there, sword experts who will tell me where that line is. But to me, this is part of what I like about these kind of toy things. They fire your imagination. And even if nothing comes of it, I am enjoying this right now, that this kind of room to dream speculation of, I would love to see, since the last time he carried a weapon like that, the question was, had he earned it? Who should carry it? Does he have what it takes to carry it? If any of that weight would be extended to a new weapon is a really fun idea.
Absolutely would be.
And Detective McCarcel says, "I'm just trying to speculate responsibly."
Don't give us our own medicine, McCarcel. McCarcel, bring me your badge.
Here is, to me, always what matters with speculate responsibly. If the film is just like it's nothing. He's just like, yeah, I got a bigger knife and I take it out and I hit a guy and we all cheer. I will not be mad.
Yeah.
That's the heart of speculate responsibly to me, is to not get so attached to what you think might happen that you're mad that it didn't.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll get to some super chats here at the end related to that.
Yeah. Cool. Ken, you touched on this, but you are in a place where you don't collect toys. I'm in a place where I just space-wise really need to get fewer. So I need to really be picky. But even if you're not a fan who collects toys, what do you think is the impact of a launch like this, where unlike some of the other recent films and certainly television shows, they're on it. There's lines of toys coming out. They're announcing it ahead of time. Many of them are going to be on shelves in the time. I saw in one of my toy groups, they're going to be releasing some collect them all posters of, here's all the vintage collections in figures in wave 1. Here's all the Black Series. This is the most organized they've been about, we're getting the merch out. So if your kid wants it to be the summer of Mando and Grogu, you'll be able to play, What do you think is the importance of that?
I think I hadn't thought of it in the angle of you just said of some of the previous shows, which are obviously more recent in our memory than Rise of Skywalker, but a lot of the toy lines after were still calling for this figure and everything. And I'm not an expert on the toy industry. You're much more in it. Our buddy Ken Plume, others, Michael Benjamin Hernandez over the Figure Report will give you some clues on what's going on, and a lot. And politics affect it. Tyrus effect. There's a lot of stuff going on in the toy industry that I don't understand. But I think just on a base level, what you're saying of like, yeah, this is part of a ramp up that we haven't seen since a False Friday in the 2016 range. That's kind of exciting. And when the news first kind of broke late last week, some of the messages going around and conversations I was in where it's like, oh, it's coming. The push is coming. The big game spot was just the beginning. The push is here, and that's kind of fun and exciting. And we always talk about, in the Star Wars bubble, outside the Star Wars bubble, if you're in a big box store or you're turned down the toy aisle at your local shop and you see it, that's a form of advertisement that stretches back to Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi, where, you and people like Mark Riley going, oh, Luke has a black outfit. He's a Jedi in this new Revenge of the Jedi film. That works. And it works in Star Wars, always has, because of Star Wars being kind of ground central for the figure movement, in pop culture, more than other things. Again, I'm not in the Marvel world as much. I'm not in the DC world, but I've never heard my DC and Marvel expert friends going, new toy out. I don't hear that. Maybe the comics in it, but that's a different game. Star Wars still has that position in the pop culture zeitgeist. So new Star Wars toys on shelves, especially if we can get to the end cap, the thing that sunk Solo, get them to the end caps. It's going to be part of the fun hype.
Yeah, I think it's important to me because it feels organized. And
Yeah.
Lucasfilm and all the partners are making it a priority. It is one of the things that tells people this isn't just a quickie we're throwing out. We're putting our backs into this. So there's this sort of business assurance of it, the support of the film, but it is the legacy of the original Star Wars film, is the connection to the toys. But also in this moment where all sorts of things come out and they're in theaters for 5 minutes and they go away, there isn't a lot. There's a decent amount of streaming television shows that have lodged themselves into the cultural conscience. There's not a lot of streaming shows. There aren't as many movies. And one of the things, in my strong opinion, is it is harder to lodge things in the cultural consciousness if they don't exist in the physical world. That is how things jump off the screen and become more than just a story. They become a shared experience and they live in the culture. And I think having such a commitment to, let's make sure this show on, like, say, Kenobi, jumps off the screen and exists in the physical world for sure, and in a big way. So that ethos of, let's make this, if you love this film, you can make it tactile. You can hold it in your hand. You can wear it on your body. And we're going to make sure you're going to be able to do that this summer. If you and your kids love this movie, you're going to be able to bring that love into your world.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's just a reality. Like, I think of that in terms of music, moving off of actual purchasing of CDs and albums and cassettes. There's so many artists I love who I forget to take in the album. I have it with me. I can literally bring it up on my phone wherever I go, and I forget. I don't think about it. I think there's just something about that. So walking down the aisles and seeing Mando with his little Vibro Beskar laser sword to make all of you happy in chat. It helps. It helps.
Yeah, and I want to address this from Osvetnik, who says, I'll say, as someone who is very deep in toy groups, a lot of people are down on the new Mando figure because there isn't real change for his look. And yes, I agree with that. And I saw that. And, the toy groups are sometimes positive, but there can be a lot of grumpiness. And there was a lot of, no way am I buying the Mando and Grogu figures that aren't that different. But I think that is a little bit of, they put themselves a little bit in a corner with that. Maybe there's a bigger change that will be the second figure. But I know for myself, I'm going to get the Mando and Grogu 2-pack. Then there's really not much difference besides that sword. And it's got a little sticker that says deluxe.
I mean,
that's okay for me. But Osvetnik is right. There has been some negativity about the Mando and Grogu figures in particular for not being too different in the collecting community.
I totally get it. I'm staring at like 4 different Vaders hanging on my wall. And I saw one this weekend that I was like, oh, new Vader. I don't need that. But yeah, I get it in terms of Mando, especially because he's gone through changes in his look and all that. And
they have put out every little, like, oh, did one part of his armor change slightly from orange to blue? Here's a new fit. Right. Like, yeah. Right. And Svetnik says he's got a new rifle too. He does. All right, moving along. There were also some books announced, visual guide covering the first 3 seasons of the show and the movie, with a foreword from Pedro Pascal, Art of Mandalorian and Grogu by Phil Sostak, and a Mandalorian cookbook. There's one thing I wanted to highlight in the description of the visual guide from the press release, and that's this. It said, discover the hidden gadgets of Din Djarin's Beskar armor. Learn more about the iconic child Grogu. Discover the secrets of the Mandalorian Code of Honor known as The Way. Official and definitive. Produced in close collaboration with Lucasfilm, this must-have guide to the Disney Plus phenomenon is packed with fascinating new insights and exclusive imagery. So, on one hand, like, that's all standard press release stuff. On the other hand, somebody squashed an announced visual dictionary a couple of years back. It's finally coming out. And I think for a long time, there was an ethos around the Mandoverse of, you don't need to know everything. We had all sorts of questions about, what exactly is the Children of the Watch? When did it start? Who all believes in it? What was Grogu's fate? When they first came out, like tracking fobs and chain codes, people were like, exactly how do they work? How do they fit? Why haven't we seen them before? And some of those things have been answered slowly over time. But there was a lot. Mando really felt like an effort to reclaim its space fantasy. It's fun to wonder. You don't need every answer right away. And now that time is ending and answers are coming. And I was curious how you felt about that.
I also going to like your Favreau farewell question. It has me thinking a little bit of like, oh, there's some wrapping up of this particular section of the story. Not that Mando and Din and Din Grogu can't go on, but so there's if that's true in any level, it could be a little bittersweet. But no, I love it. I like these. These are the things I still collect. All right, these are the things I still make sure are on my shelves. I do love getting lost in these details as much as you and I love exploring the themes and preach. Not everything needs to be answered or not answered to your individual specific desires, and just kind of ask yourself, how does this make you feel? Something you've asked today, even with the possibility of a trailer. Like I still, we're Star Wars nerds too. And I want to know what that little voice recorder is, or I want to know what that blade is, and I will get lost in this like I'm a 7-year-old. Like this is the stuff I used to do, with these magazines that are still sitting here that I had when I was younger, just flipping through them and just, taking it off the screen, and you figures in your hand, the books are in your imagination to continue the story. And I think it's even as I approach 50, I will sit there on my couch and just go, ooh, it's just Star Wars fun. And it was a little disappointing when they, squashed some of the stuff early on, and we never necessarily know why. But it makes sense that now here towards the big movie, and maybe wrapping up this part of the Star Wars story with these characters, at least in terms of this journey, we can get to look back and look at all the details. It's gonna be fun.
Yeah, Ochi Fan 327, which I love all of that name, Ochi Fan 327. Says, is a huge Star Wars trivia fan, highly support. I don't think they're going to go into everything, though. I'm not convinced, for example, they're going to reveal the name of the client. I agree. I think there will still be some things held back. For me, I think this is a nice meeting in the middle, where there was years of time where there's some room to dream on some of this, instead of like, I love the trivia too, and it's really fun to feel like you're almost like an archaeologist. If you buy the book and you do dig through the pages and you find this tiny text that tells you this little detail of a thing you love, that's really, really fun. But it was happening so fast with like some of the sequel trilogy movies, where I feel like there was almost just like this race to flip through and find your factoid. That I think cut off some of the fun conversations that we've had for years about different things. So I think this is a good compromise, that we had years to discuss some of these mysteries, and now some of them, but maybe not all of them, will become clear. So I'm excited for it.
No, very much so. And a cookbook. Oh my gosh, we finally get to cook that clam chowder that comes out of a tube.
I want hose chowder. All right, we got one more story here, Ken. That we want to be sure not to leave on the table, and that is the Racer trailer. There was a new gameplay trailer for Star Wars Galactic Racer. It featured cool vehicles crashing in many cool and beautiful locations, and the baddie, Kester Bool, a Cascadag, is the species, kicking a bit droid's head off, and then, of course, beloved weirdo Ben Quadraneros getting chased by Sebulba's Racer. So did this make you more excited to play the actual game, seeing this gameplay?
Yes, but I know how I'm going to play it. I'm going to binge it one day, and then maybe not touch it for a while, and just when it's Tuesday and I have 20 minutes and I just want to race, I'll play it, because I love racing games. And this is, of course, Burnout, Need for Speed, Gran Turismo. I do have a lot of those in my PlayStation library, and I don't spend a lot of time on them. It's a good relax, and maybe I can drive fast. I think that's how I'm going to approach this game. I don't need it. And by the way, I don't need it to be any more than that. I think this is smart to have this. I've talked about wanting a pod racing game for years. That's a different thing that I've been pitching, the franchise mode, all that stuff. This will be fun. This has all the same ingredients that made Pod Racer and Racer's Revenge and all those games in the early 2000s. Fun, repeatable, maybe even group activities if you got some friends with the game. So yeah, it made me excited, but I know exactly what to be excited for me personally.
Yeah, for me, it was great to just be reminded, like, yeah, that's going to be a lot of the game. It's me crashing into things, but also getting a sense of like how much of a story there is. So it made me more excited for the game. But let's just get right to the point. The point of this is Ben Quadraneros. Arguably, I think arguably in my friend group, my perception in 1999 that Ben was one of Generation X's most hated designs from the Phantom Menace back in 1999. Now he is a selling point. Now he is the pop at the end of the trailer. What does that tell you about time and the human condition?
It tells you I'm a huge Spice Girls fan. And when the Spice Girls first came on, I was a rock radio DJ, and we every day had a segment in which we made fun of them. And I made fun of them until I loved them. And I'm glad I did, because I really sincerely love what they did in the mid-90s and the movement that they were helping lead. This is what happens. Is sometimes you mock until you understand. And Ben Quadranaros' face understandably was mocked, but now we understand it. He's a hero. He's the best of us. I'm so glad this character has lived on. I'm so glad this character has gone beyond his. He's amazing, and I love seeing this. I love seeing the love for Ben in 2026.
I think for me, I remember I was troubled by Ben because the aesthetic was so different, and I think. One of the fantastic things about the prequels is that Lucas made the concrete choice to really expand the palette of what Star Wars could look like. And maybe he wanted to do a weird cartoon, goofy looking guy who's a big diamond head on legs, full of anxiety. Maybe that was a vision in his mind in 1977, but he couldn't realize it. But he had to know, like, oh, some of these designs people are going to push back on. And it is a testament to him that there was like a push to add new and to accept change. And I'm so glad that he did, because for the people who grew up with it, it's just like, that's what Star Wars looks like. There's no friction here. We've always loved this guy. And then for some of us who were older and grumpier, we got the gift of being given something new and adapting to it, and then eventually finding out, like, wait, I love that. And I'm glad that the Star Wars palette expands with every new thing. And I think it should expand with every new thing, so that 20 years from now, there can be another weirdo that people are like, Boop Bop is back. All right. I love Boop Bop.
We love Boop Bop. Glove shittles all around. David McKisis, Jar Jar comic, Darth Maul show, Sebulba, Ben Quadrados video game 2026 is the year of the Phantom Menace, and he ain't wrong. It's great to see. Great to see.
And I did want to throw that in. I know you picked up the Jar Jar comic. I had a chance to pick it up as well. I don't want to spoil it for anybody who hasn't read it. But since there's been speculation, trailer's coming out tomorrow. The comic is a team up between Jar Jar and Kelleran Beck. Where are you at with the Jar Jar and Kelleran as a part of Grogu's backstory, being included in the film as a flashback? Jar Jar returns to the silver screen. Where are you at?
I'm so high on this that I have to be careful. You might have to grab my ankle, Joseph, because I'm floating away. We already had this. We've had this since Kelleran Beck showed up and said, I got to take you to a friend, and the friend had a Naboo starship. And now I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, but I was watching Alex Amali's new show on Saturday, and the Hey Blibber Duck, which is the ship. That's what Kelleran was kind of borrowing. And like, come on, man, we're right here. We're right at the cusp of greatness. It just makes too much sense, man. It just makes too much sense. And I will dive into the fray like I'm an armored, unsullied fighting the army of the dead. If you start coming after my Jar Jar in this movie, I'm coming for you, Gen X. I am coming for you hard. If Jar Jar shows up in the movie or even the trailer, and you start being who you always have been, Joseph and I, we're going to go Dark Knight. I'm not going to put you, if you don't want to get pulled into it. We're going to go Dark Knight. We're going to go Dark Knight. Defending.
There will be many videos and essays and whatnot. Yeah. I think that, Favreau and Filoni have shown that their ethos is every part of Star Wars matters. Every part of Star Wars is fun and interesting. And some people might not like it, but I don't think they're putting the negative thing of nostalgia drops to hook people, because if anything, they're almost more dangerous these days. I think they believe in a connected universe where stories build on other stories. And if there's a cool idea introduced in Star Wars and a cool character, it's fun to pick that character up and play with it and go, well, what will we learn about this character if they're in this situation or meet this person or this design is meshed with this design? I think it is honest enthusiasm from Favreau and Filoni. I think it has nothing to do with a cold, cynical nostalgia grabs. I think it's who they are as a creator, as creators. It is fine if you don't like it and it's too much nostalgia or repetition for you. That's your taste. But I think they're so poised as an ethos to say, why not? Why not? Well, the most berated character in all of Star Wars, and a cool Jedi who started as the host of a children's program in our real world. Every part of Star Wars is beautiful. But the biggest thing is where we have left off narratively, emotionally with the characters, is Grogu needing to face his past. Has to face the responsibility of teaching Grogu how to be a good person in the galaxy, a good Mandalorian. Grogu needs to face the trauma of his past. Even when Ahsoka searches his mind, she's like, the next 50 years are dark. He just doesn't like to think about them. And then in that ritual, the hammer of trauma, where that ring makes you reflect on who you are, how you came to this point, what you're made of. We see that flashback because Grogu is starting to go like, let me look at the darkness just a little bit. So we are poised to know, for the advancement of this character, can you face what happened to you and live with it? Can you deal with your past? And that is reason for us to continue the story. And the story was a blatant setup to, yes, let me get into this Naboo ship and take you to a friend. The comic sets up their friendship.
Sets up the ship.
I mean, if they want a conspiracy theory, they're dropping all the right hints.
Yes, more than Dark Jar Jar, which, I apologize. I think I was a little aggressive to someone in comments this weekend when I did the short comic review. And they were like, well, you know, Jar Jar was supposed to be a Dark Jedi. No, he was not. He was never, that's never, ever in George's radar. And it's because of, you and I hammer the drama of what Jar Jar represents and the story of Everyone Matters. I got into it. I got it on stage last night at a comedy show. I got into it with someone about Jar Jar in a fun way. Hopefully it was funny. I'm just so tired. I get it. We were there. We got it. We were there in 99. It has great meaning. And God, Joseph, you pulled the string. It would be perfect for Favreau, again, to sit up there on stage in 2019 and say, I'm not a huge fan of the prequels, to be the filmmaker that brings Jar Jar back. It would be chef's kiss of how it should be. Of all the things people might have to say about Dave and all the things in his promotion and whether or not you like it or not, you want to, give your takes and get all the views on your negative takes on Dave, whatever. My favorite thing of Dave has always been, he gets it. He got all the pieces. He was dressed as Plo Koon for a reason. You can hear him talk about the Phantom Menace Duel of Fates fight, and you can get lost in his words and go, wow, it's great. But to me, that Dave gets it. He would not just say, hey, let's bring Jar Jar back to F with people. Mm-hmm. They didn't do that with Keller and Beck. Who of all the Jedi we have, Pablo, give me the roster. Who do you got? Who's the one who protects kids? Who's the ones for it's Kelleran. And I'm sorry. It's got to happen.
No. Amaranth says, I'm worried what might have happened to the Gungans if Grogu was in darkness for 50 years. And I think that's a part of it, the excitement too, for me, the possible narrative, which I will let go if untrue. Mm-hmm. Kelleran takes him to Jar Jar. Grogu gets a bit of kindness, and then, something bad happens. I don't want Jar Jar to die or anything, but Grogu is taken from Jar Jar. But it also means that we get to see Jar Jar in the moment as everything falls around him. And there's room for what the comic did a little bit of, still a sweet and lovable character, but a character who has been thrust onto this large stage and dealing with the horrors of reality.
Yeah.
And, that's going to be the word of mouth thing. If everybody's like, hey, you guys got to see this movie, Jar Jar cries. he's got this really dark moment. He cries.
And you know what? And he's got a beard. Like those rumors have.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And look, I say all this because it's good to be a great moment. It would be much like it with Keller and Beck. Like you and I talked about it. When that moment happens, I was like alone in my couch in a living room, and I said, "They're going to do it." They did. Oh my God! Not to talk about Jar Jar, but about Ahmed. Back at Star Wars and Keller and Beck. Oh my God! It was such an important moment. It's not just a nostalgia pop, or it's like done with great purpose, and that's why we love this stuff. So, anyways, all that to say, yeah, I'll put some money down.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was moving away from it until this comic book, and I was like, come on.
Yes, no, okay, yeah, no. I was like, yeah, no. I should not set myself up for disappointment, and that's not what the movie's going to be about. But yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
it's right there.
I think it could be a 30-second thing. I just feel like Grogu dealing with his past feels like it's something that I expect the film to do.
Yeah, indeed.
All right, I think we got a couple of super chats to grab, right?
We do. Let me get back to that section here. I'll start with the most recent one that came. Thank you for super chats, everybody, helping support the show. It means a lot in this key year for us as a podcast. Jared, the TIE pilot, all the great things Jar Jar does is set up to do makes his fate in the Aftermath book even more sad. Yeah, I'm still a big fan of Chuck Wendig's epilogue of Jar Jar in the Aftermath series because it's in a way like. To me, Chuck in his writing got it too. Of just got the whole story around Jar Jar Ahmed in the story and out of the story, and yeah, he's left with the children because that's also, as George said, was for. It's beautiful, but it is sad. And again, I'm expecting even if Jar Jar shows up and Grogu is handed to, I'm expecting darkness to follow because of everything we know. And I like a little sadness. All right. I was out dancing in the rain this morning. I like it when it's gloomy, but I just want Jar Jar back.
Goth Jar Jar.
Goth Jar Jar. A couple just super chats for the goal we have up there. Thank you, Snargar. I always just want to flip the R's around in that. Thank you, JMB, Vulcan Nerd with some yen checking in. Love that. Jared had this one as well. We need more lightsaber toys and collectibles, as Jared has about 200 hanging in his room, maybe less. Yeah, I would love to see that. Maybe you can get your little, maybe it is a Beskar blade, Joseph, and then you can actually get it and hang it above your fireplace.
No, and I don't think it is going to be Beskar. I think our friends in the chat are correct. It's going to be a vibroblade, but I hope a mythic vibroblade.
There you go. And also, Snargad, didn't they have to put a bubble over the astromech area for Grogu to have a seat? It all needed one. Yes. Yeah, they had to. Peli had to do some aftermarket changes.
And maybe there's a little refresher for Grogu in there.
Yep. Just he's sitting on one. The seat is a refresher. Thanks, Rick. Olier.
The whole seat is a refresher.
There you go.
One big toilet, kid.
Yeah. Love it. All right. I think that's all we got for super chats. Appreciate all that, folks.
Oh my gosh, yes. This would be the deepest of deep cuts I would love. Amrit saying maybe we'll see his Bardotten gal. Yeah, Jar Jar's romance off of Vulcan Nerds, because Friday Jar Jar's in love. That is right. Goth Jar Jar. All right. A lot of news. We've had some weeks where there isn't much. This one,
lots of news and more news coming. So if you're watching live or at the time of this release, the audio course goes out after. We will be doing a breakdown to what we hope is a wonderful, robust Mandalorian and Grogu trailer coming Tuesday, February 17th. So we'll look for that, or you should look for that, please, if you want. And we also got on Friday, I'll say this. Friday, I might have jury duty, so stand by. See if my civic duty gets in the way of Star Wars discussion. But if not, Joseph and I will be hanging out with all of you and taking your calls so you can share your favorite things and moments and reveals from Mandalorian and Grogu trailer. So look for that. And don't forget, you can support us in a lot of different ways, liking, subscribing, commenting, all that stuff here on YouTube. If you're listening on the audio feed, thank you there. Let us know that you're listening on the podcast via social media by following us and talking to us on Blue Sky at ForceCenter Pod, also Instagram as well. And you can get the podcast version and get the rebroadcasts of Databank Brawl every Sunday. A lot of fun. We just had the big Bigs episode with Alex and Molly from Star Wars Explained. Replayed that one, episode 108, I believe. So we're getting through it. And then you can support us directly at patreon.com/ForceCenter. From there, get into our Discord where you can talk about all this 24 hours a day. Follow me at Ken Knapsack or my website, KenKnapsack.com. You, sir.
Yeah, you can follow me on social media at Joseph Scrimshaw is my handle on Blue Sky, and Instagram in particular is where I'm spending the most time. So feel free to join me there. You can also check out my website, josephscrimshaw.com, for details on the horror film I've been working on, Dead Media. It is making its film festival premiere in Durham, North Carolina. In the end of February. There's going to be 2 screenings. So if you live in that area, please come down to the festival and please say hello. And if you just know friends who are there, please tell them to go and say hello.
I've heard Ken Bloom's going to he's going to make the drive down. He's going to show up with snacks. He told me he would. So there you go. All right, everybody, that's it. We're excited for the trailer. We'll see you tomorrow for that. Going to be a lot of fun. Thanks for everyone having fun in chat today. We appreciate all of you. We shall see you next time.